What's up, YouTube fans?
What's up? What up? What up? What up?
How's it going in your neck of the woods?
Yes, we're back.
We're here with another video.
Yet another video.
Another video. Just, you know, it's been a week.
Yeah.
It's been a week. Whether
a lot going on.
a lot
is going on.
And we thought we'd just get on here. You know, it's funny, we started the conversation about race
and diversity
last week, which if you're new to this channel and you're not new to this channel, you know, like, we talk about this stuff because we live it. Frederick lives it. As an interracial couple, we live it. And so we just wanted to continue that conversation.
In our last video, we talked about diversity, and that was one of the biggest things we talked about, how to diversify your circle, and not knowing that a day later, the horrendous situation that happened in Minneapolis with George Floyd was going to happen.
Yeah.
So
literally the next day. And it just felt like, the Lord was already preparing our hearts to the conversations that we were going to have with a lot of friends.
And a lot of people we don't know that are reaching out and asking questions and want to learn. And this topic has been such a, I feel it's such a pivotal time right now for the world in general to actually take a better look at all the injustices that has been, you know, swept under the rug for so long.
Mm-hmm. It feels like for the first time, the white community is truly listening and going, this can no longer go in the direction, the systematic direction it was going. Yeah. Like it just can't. It's like,
sure. And that's
I don't know, do you feel that way?
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, that's not always been the case, you know. For a lot of times we'll have people that may not look like me that would say, yeah, that's wrong. But when they get home or when they're with a certain group of people that may look like them, they may not stand up if there's a racially insensitive joke being said, or if they have family that's saying stuff that's racially unacceptable. They wouldn't stand up in those positions. They would kind of shrink back, as in, I don't want to put myself too far out there, as in support of this cause, just because this cause may not be directly affecting them. So
you are from the Bahamas.
Yep.
Do you?
Island boy.
But you came over
Island
here.
Shirt.
Island shirt. Do you feel like coming over here in college? Like, what have you experienced as a black man being in this country, but not being from this country?
The fact that I'm not from this country, but still a black man, I don't think that affects what I experience based on someone that's from this country.
Because they don't see.
They don't see, oh, that guy's from somewhere else, let's treat him better. They don't see that. They still only see people that are mean and nasty and cruel and racially racist. In that sense, they're going to be themselves, and they're going to be that toward you just based off a judgment of your skin color. So, I mean, I've had experiences where you've had things said to you. Some of it I can't repeat because, I mean, I've been called N-word before many times in negative connotations. Had kids say stuff to me that I can tell their parents fueled into them, where you have to really restrain yourself. Where he's like, whoa, what? Okay, you have to walk away, try to do something different, just because some people try to say these stuff to you and say negative things to you, try to get a rise out of you, to get you to strike back, and then you realize that you do that, you're in that scenario where you hit someone that looks different than you, or you hurt somebody that looks different than you, and you're going to court, your word versus theirs. And most times you feel like, just because I'm black, or sometimes you feel like your word may not stand as strong in court versus their word if they were Caucasian or anything like that. So I've experienced, I mean, you're walking in a mall. I have had ladies, white ladies, Caucasian ladies, hold their purse really close when I start getting closer to them, as if I'm gonna run off and take their purse. And I'm like,
I don't want your ugly purse.
Yeah, I don't want your purse. I'm like, happened in grocery stores before. I'm like, lady, I'm just trying to get these grapes. I just want some grapes.
I just eat these grapes for my toddler. He's really into grapes right now.
Yeah. I don't want. Like, that's not what's happening. You know, when you see even when you're outside, you're running or you're exercising and you're approaching someone, or you just happen to go the same direction as someone, and you follow and you see, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel them. I could feel that they're starting to feel it. So I go the opposite way. Even though I want to go that way, I'm going the opposite way just because I don't even want to put that inherent fear in that person that's thinking automatically that I have a negative action that I want to do toward them. Like I want to hurt them, or I want to beat them up, or I want to just rob them. And that's kind of the connotations that I feel that you get a lot of times. And you've heard stories of people saying just because, a black person has a mask on and they're going in the store, you hear someone say something like, you hear stories of people saying, man, it's hard to tell. I thought you were going to rob me just because you're black with a mask on. You hear crazy stuff like that. And that's kind of the whole premise of why, there's so much stuff happening now, and why these conversations need to happen, and why we all need to listen, because there's been so much stigmas associated with the African American culture and African Americans in general, and how they are, what type of people they are, and that just goes back, I think, to, I don't know, maybe like the slavery days when they thought they had to beat it out of you or tame these individuals to get them to do their bidding, because otherwise they can't function or be credible people in society without that kind of slavery mentality, slave backbreaking type discipline.
So you feel like there's some people who never actually got that generationally out of their system?
Oh, absolutely. I feel there's people that haven't got it out of their system. I feel there's people that actually want to thrive because it's like a power thing. Yeah, they feel like they have the power and they just try to keep it and because that's their only way of building themselves up. They feel they have to to belittle someone to make them feel better because of all the other stuff they're dealing with, and they're going through that they're not dealing with their own life.
Yeah. So what does that make you feel like? So we have a toddler who's almost 2. What does that make you feel raising a black son? The
social climate we're currently in. I mean, raising a son, and our first kid, our only kid so far, well, we have one on the way, but our son, knowing that I'll have to teach my son, if he gets pulled over in a car, how to try to successfully leave that situation with his life and not overreact, or to teach him move very slowly, keep your hands where you could always see them, keep both hands here, yes, say yes sir, say yes ma'am, continue to repeat what you're about to do. If you're going to reach into the glove compartment, say, sir, officer, I'm reaching into the glove compartment. It's so much things that you have to teach your son when it comes to his skin color, how he's going to be perceived, how much harder he may have to work to get a job or to be considered for opportunities, and how that the way he looks kind of makes him have to work twice as hard to achieve maybe certain things that someone that has a different skin color, or maybe a Caucasian person, may not have to work as hard. And I'm not talking work ethic and all that stuff, but
saying maybe they're starting in a different...
Yeah, they're starting on a different playing field, a different ballpark,
but not spiritually.
Not spiritually, but that's just a small snippet of the things I think that I have to have conversations with him about, to where how if he does something wrong, or if he gets in trouble, how it's going to be perceived at a different level or magnitude.
So you're already thinking about those kind of conversations.
I'm already thinking of those conversations, because every day I walk out there, I think of those conversations for myself. I have to constantly think of that, what happens here, or if I get pulled over, what do I need to do? How do I speak? How do I address to make sure that I'm not in trouble?
I think the first time I saw that was when we were driving to Nashville and we got pulled over.
Were we in Alabama?
Arkansas,
yeah, we were in Arkansas.
And it was a white officer.
And you were driving.
And I was driving. Or were you driving?
No, you were driving
at the
time. We had switched off.
Yes,
Yep.
and it was in the middle of nowhere,
Yep.
and my heart started racing.
Yeah.
And I already get nervous getting pulled over. Like, my heart starts racing as if, like, I just murdered someone and I'm on the run.
Do you get pulled over a lot?
Sometimes.
I was like, you're like, my heart starts when I get pulled. Like,
So
how much
I
time
just,
do you get
like,
pulled
this
over?
is such a sensitive topic to me, because I think as a white Hispanic woman,
Yeah.
if I'm feeling the way I feel get pulled over,
Yeah.
it's like times 2 kabillion when you get pulled over.
Absolutely.
And so I think, like, even as we've had conversations about being married and being in this interracial relationship during this time, like, we are one.
Yeah.
So Frederick is experiencing it himself. I'm never going to know what he's
Absolutely.
experiencing. But everything he goes through, my heart is connected to what he's going
Exactly.
through. So I'm even having a hard time really talking about this without getting emotional.
Yeah, because and that's
But
the part.
what I was going to finish saying about the car thing,
Yeah.
like getting pulled over, is that I
as a
just saw
wife.
you, like, take these steps, and I thought, I never have to take those steps.
Yeah. Like, that doesn't affect you like that. And then you see things that are happening in today's world, and people getting, gunned down or shot in their house sleeping, or their lives are being cut short for no reason. And then you can see, what if that was me? What if that was Zane?
So
what if that was your son? What if that's our new baby? Like,
that's what people are fighting for, is when they see George Floyd,
Yeah.
they see their son,
yep.
and their son, that could be, it's not just, I have a black mom or I have
Yeah.
a black dad. That could have been an adopted
Yep.
son. And so it's the white mom who's feeling this way. It's just humans in general. If
Yeah.
you don't have a compassion for this, then I don't know if you have a heart.
Yeah, it's hard to say. And the fact that obviously we're married together, and I experience things different than you may experience them, but at the same time, you still experience those things that I experienced, because you hurt if I hurt.
Yes.
And that's the
And if
main
Zane's-
thing. And if Zane's hurting, you're hurting. So just because it may not directly happen to you, it does indirectly happen to you, because
Yeah.
you're my wife and you're Zane's mom. And the fact is that that's all that the black community wants in this moment, is for other people of different races to hurt when they hurt, to
Yep.
hurt when they see
Which
injustice
is what
happening
we're called
to
to
them.
do as believers.
And we're called to do that as believers, is to share each other's burdens and to
The pain.
feel each other's pain, and to stand up against wrong. And when we
Yeah.
see wrong, to call it out. And that's a lot of times wrong has been happening, and a lot of people has been turning the other cheek to it, or just acting like they haven't seen it and just waiting for it to clear out.
Yeah.
And not say anything.
It
or
becomes
it
like
wait-
just
yeah.
an agenda that
Yeah.
comes up, and
It's like, oh, it ought to blow off in a
that
few,
will blow
few
off.
weeks
And
or
I
so.
think it's kind of what we've seen,
Yeah.
even in the church, like
Absolutely.
in families and churches. It's like, oh, there they go again,
Yep.
getting riled up about that
Yep.
political thing.
Exactly.
Oh, there it goes again.
Yep.
And the people who are like sitting in these churches are just shocked
Yeah.
that like it's not mentioned
It's
more.
not being mentioned. It's
when-
not a focus,
Yeah.
a focal point. Like, they should bring more attention to that. That's what people want to see,
Yeah.
that you have their back in these situations. It's like, if the church doesn't, who will?
Yeah.
The people that say they love God and love Jesus and love all His creations just don't show up in those moments, then it's hard to believe that they do love
Yeah.
you or see you
Yeah.
as that valuable.
It even feels like there needs to be a time coming up where maybe total white churches
Yeah.
kind of take a step back and let God appoint someone, a leader who's already in their church. Give them the microphone. Give them
Yeah.
the like.
Put other people that look a little different in these leadership positions, to where their voice can be heard. And then it's always good to have different voices in the mix, so someone can
Yeah.
see themselves up there, and it gives hope. It gives even at the jobs, from a job standpoint, there's companies that probably could use
Their
some
executive
more
level.
executive level people that look different than one specific, whether it's Caucasian or all African American, like, or all Latin. Like, we need to mix it up and have more people, more expression, more flavors in there.
Yeah, and that's where it gets. Another thing we were talking about a lot this week was risk.
Yeah.
You know, what it's taken us to be this unit has required a lot of risk from
Absolutely.
us. We talk a lot in our other videos about opposition and risk.
Yeah.
But not just a romantic relationship. Like, if you're sitting here on the other side watching this and you're like, I really like don't know like what to do. I feel like getting educated with the books and reading, and yes, absolutely. I am in that boat too. Like, I want to read more. I want to like consume more and stop and listen. And that's what I've been doing this week. But I also know that my whole life have lived in the direction I want to move towards the Black community. Yeah. It's just a heart call, I don't know, that God has given me.
The thing is, you've always put yourself in that environment, in that culture, in that environment. Like, you haven't been afraid to immerse yourself in there, or to find a group of people that's in that environment, a group of African Americans, and befriend them and say, hey, I want to be your friend. I want to learn about you. And that's one of the other things too that the Black community wants right now, is just for other races, other people to just come into their world and be willing to listen and learn, and not just
to come out of their bubble.
Yeah, not just to come out of their bubble.
Read a book about them privately.
Exactly.
But never am I going to actually be the minority.
Exactly, because there's often times where we feel like we go into other worlds of other people, and whether it's a tech world and you're like one of the few technical people at a job, or you're an educator and you're one of the few African American educators in a university. So we're constantly switching in different worlds, but no one ever wants to come to our side and learn about our culture, and why is it that this is important to you.
Excuse me, that needs to happen more.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there needs to be more interest in learning more about the African American community. And
we were even talking about earlier how when I go back to the Bahamas with him, it's a majority Black country.
For sure.
And, I like I said, just a little bit of my history. Well, I mean, what? No, I've purposely, since I was in middle school, have chosen to put myself in circles or schools. I transferred to another school across town that had way more, I don't know the percentage, but it was African American, where a lot of African American in the city, they went to school, and I had been going to a white school, and my parents let me transfer over there. I purposely in my 20s went to the Potter's house to be in the culture. But all that being said, going to the Bahamas, I had never been in an entire country. And so I think this last time I really experienced it, of like, this is how Frederick feels every day. This is how Frederick feels when he walks into a lot of churches. This is how he feels when he walks into restaurants. That's how he feels. And there was just something about it that I was like, wow, like, it's just such a different experience. And yes, I knew people were staring at me.
Absolutely.
I knew people were like looking at me, but I have obviously been in that in church setting, but that was church. Bahamas is great. Everybody's really warm and welcoming, but it's so good, like, to put yourself in that. Like, it's like learning a language. If you want to learn Spanish, sitting in a class is not going to be the best way you learn Spanish. Spending a summer in Mexico might be...
That'll get you there.
That will get you. So...
Put yourself in a fire.
Yeah, I just feel like when people have been coming and asking us questions, like, we, like, be led by the Holy Spirit. Like, just really ask God, like, where do I need to step out my comfort zone and take some risks?
Yeah.
What conversations are my white friends having?
Yeah.
That I'm not gonna longer just sit there in silence and be uncomfortable. I'm actually gonna say no.
Like, that's wrong. Like,
listen here. And so I knew when I dated Frederick, like there was some little bit issues in my family, and I think what happens with white, like my dad is white and my mom's Mexican, so you would think, oh, that interracial relationship, but still not black and white.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit, different. But my dad had some rooted things. I think the Mexican side had rooted things. And just little funny things that people say.
Yeah.
And Frederick is at the dinner table and I'm thinking, that is super racist. Like, and just having those conversations with my dad and saying, you can't say that anymore. Or, I know you heard your friends say that and you're thinking it's funny. Or, somebody, a family friend at the dinner table saying, and Frederick is so gracious that he's just like, I mean, I don't even know if remember some of them, but I'm not going to repeat
probably some of them
them.
I didn't hear just because, I don't know, I was strong enough to react in the right way at the dating time.
And I think they're just like things people say that they think is normal.
Yeah, or like a funny
let me be funny here.
But it's really insensitive.
And it's super insensitive. Yeah. And that's what it's like. Are you in those circles and are you willing to step out? Also, like, I mean, this is not interracial dating video, but will you allow your daughter? Will you allow your son to date outside their race? Like, that's when you start really recognizing
if you got something inside your heart that you need to work out. If that messes with you a little bit, then that's something you need to check. And it's like, why are you so afraid, or why are you putting up such a resistance to your African American son dating a Caucasian girl, or your Caucasian daughter dating an African American boy? Like, why are you putting that? And that's something that I think we all have to heart check. I think as people, there can be a little bit of, we all could have a little bit of a hint of maybe prejudice toward a different race that's not ours, because we know our race, we know our people, right? And you're comfortable with your people, but it's just allowing yourself to get uncomfortable to the point where you're willing to listen and learn and grow is what it takes. So we have to all become uncomfortable in these times, get to know people that are different than us, hear their stories. I mean, we both have so much stories that basically even on our interracial dating that we've experienced.
These conversations are going to go on and on.
We've walked into Arkansas restaurants in Arkansas, and
Little Rock be crazy, y'all.
We literally walked into a diner, all white folks,
and the restaurant
quiet,
all got
super quiet. I was like, all right.
I think you'll have the best burger in town.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm just here for the burger.
I'm like, here we go.
I was like, Frederick. I mean, this one couple could not even chew their fries because they're
just
like
staring. And you know what? I was like, man, okay. I guess we need to walk in this restaurant because
you broke up on me, son.
I was like, I guess we need to walk in this restaurant because all y'all need to see this. Y'all need to see what's happening here. And y'all need to know that this is a new day. This is where the world's headed.
It's a new day and
the world's going in
this
direction. And whatever in your heart right now that you think should be what you're saying is the right thing or the right look or the right optics, like, you need to squash that, because
squash it, son.
Get on board this thing. So
squash it.
So much stories like that. And it's like we really can't even talk about it all.
I'm even thinking about, like, just as with Zane and parenting and all this, so I think we'll go on with that. But really, I just wanted to hear my hubby's heart in all of this, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Yeah, we're just an interracial couple trying to, work and navigate through the same waters a lot of people are.
And the conversations don't stop. Just keep having the conversations and be willing to put yourself out there and take a stand.
Put yourself and make change where you can. If you're a boss or a leader or in a church or have given that authority to make decisions, like, now is your time. Now is your time to be a voice and make those decisions. And start in the home. Make sure it's an overflow of what is coming out of your home, and y'all, the world will change.
And I think one of the biggest things you can do as parents, if you have kids, is to just teach your kids that injustice is wrong and to not treat anybody different just because based on the color of their skin or their race. Just to leave a legacy where your kids knows right from wrong, and that they don't that if they were to see injustice happening like what took place in Minneapolis, they would speak out against it. They would say that it is wrong.
Yeah, they're watching you guys.
Yep.
They're watching us. Zane is definitely watching me.
Oh, for sure. Our kids watch us, and
why do I have this?
The best thing we can do is leave behind a great legacy.
Yeah.
To help us all move forward.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do, a lot of conversations, a lot of learning. Obviously, me as a mom is going to be learning a lot, but the best I can do is be an advocate and be a prayer warrior and continue to lead my family, lead my son in that way, and always be an encourager and an uplifter of who they are and who God has created them to be, because I love this skin. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, guys, thank you for joining us once again, and we hope this was enlightening in any way. Of course, if you have any questions or any comments, please leave them below, and don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, hit that subscribe button. And for real, if y'all got questions, y'all want to talk about something, y'all want to know who to talk to about in these times, y'all want to talk to us, just hit us up.
Awesome.
All right.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.